Good evening. I'm Jonah Karp in for Kenesha Dees. The Biden administration is pushing Congress to pass the Bipartisan Innovation Act. This legislation will bring more job opportunities to the American people and help combat supply chain shortages, particularly when it comes to things like microchips. Our Nixon Norman has more.
U.S. car manufacturers delayed their chip orders in 2020 because they thought a recession was coming from the pandemic. When that didn't happen and car orders didn't decrease, they scrambled to get back in line to get their chip orders so they could supply everyone who was ordering new cars. And then they were actually in the back of the line because of all the remote work that had occurred, meant that all those devices that people were buying to work from home, those had chips in them. And so car manufacturers were essentially at the back of the line for those orders, which meant that new car orders were really delayed.
Low supply of these microchips can cause serious waves in both the automotive industry and tech industry. Under the Bipartisan Innovation Act, record investments will be made in emerging technologies.
This legislation is all about making sure that Americans have the goods that they need, the products that power our everyday lives, from our cell phones to our cars, to the equipment that we need for our businesses, the equipment that we use on our farms. It's all of those run because of microchips, semiconductors.
Not only will this legislation deal with supply chain issues, it will also allow for more domestic job opportunities and benefit our nation's economy as a whole.
We need to bring these jobs back to the U.S. It'll create a deeper ecosystem for that supply chain. It'll make sure that we have the resiliency, that we have the ability to make sure that if anything should happen, like another pandemic or some sort of catastrophe like a weather event or big fires, that we have a guaranteed access to those chips here in the United States. We shouldn't be relying on so much of the rest of the world to provide us those chips. And that's going to make sure that we can keep those products flowing and keep costs down for American consumers.
Nixon Norman, Fox 54 News.